Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in
Shade
the
in the
City.
City.
I am your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are doing our review of Ready to Love Reunion Part 2. Please forgive us for being tardy for the party. If you have not already, Shade Squad, please make sure that you've hit the like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's jump into it. I will say that I think Part 2 was giving. And I can appreciate it. It was a little better than Part 1. So you gave us a reason to
Yes, they
come back.
saved the drama for last.
Yes, and I can appreciate that. So thank you, Owen. So yeah, guys, let's jump into it and let's get shady. So we are picking up where we left off with Morgan being upset with Tony and walking off stage. Now Jeffrey is consoling Morgan while Marcia is
It's
talking to
all
Tony, and
cuddled up with Tony.
She was a little cuddled up. She tells him he didn't know what he was up against, and Tony says he was about to say, "Bring it on." I said, "Tony, you knew better. You knew better, okay?" Morgan's a gremlin. She said it. Leave her alone. So Jeffrey says poor Mark Anthony doesn't know how bad of a guy Tony is. And Morgan states, does he think I'm just mad because we didn't work out? That's not it. That's what it's giving though. Now Jeffrey says she can't with the men and how they're, up each other's asses. And basically production makes them all go back to the stage. Like y'all got a job to do. We're not done yet.
Oh, and the fact that Dre is basically agreeing with everything that Tony's saying. She says this is even scarier to her. Girl, he don't want you anyway. It don't make a difference.
Right. So Tommy brings up the getaway and asks why so many connections strengthened when they got, when they got there. And Marcia suggests because they were all horny. Mark Anthony says, because you had to be in front of everybody else for 24 hours or 48 hours. And Lyndon chimes in that there was no hiding. So Andre says that was the moment where you needed to decide. Z backstage is thanking God they didn't have to live in the same house. And Tommy asks what they learned in the house, and Jeffrey says that she learned she couldn't handle multiple guys at a time. Now, Tommy asked her if she felt she had to decide and did she think it was the right decision at that time. Jeffrey lets him know she did feel she had to make a decision and at that time thought it was right. And Lyndon thought everyone was going to the house to figure it out, and he was the only one still trying to figure things out when he got there. So Tommy asked him how he feels about Tony saying he was hounding Morgan, and he admits that he was. He took that. I said, "Okay, Lyndon."
I was loving this honesty.
Right.
And Morgan said that's what he
why
gets.
the ladies love Lyndon.
That's what Morgan said it. Morgan said it, that he's honest.
So Lyndon says the last thing he wanted to do was make Morgan uncomfortable and admits they were competing for her affection. But after she left the table crying, he realized it was hurting her. So Tony goes to Morgan and asks her after the heated debate at the dinner table, did it change? Or I'm sorry, Tommy. I'm calling him Tony. Jesus Christ. Tommy moves on to Morgan.
I'm so bad. Siri put tell me.
Oh, wow. And he asked her, after the heated debate at the dinner table, did it change her mind about her connection? She says that it made it harder because Tony had so many red flags and Lyndon didn't. I guess. She says that Lyndon did simple things to let her know that it wasn't just a crush. And she thinks she may have given Tony too much of her time and grace. So she says that Tony says things in the moment that he doesn't mean, but felt there was some validity to it. She then says Marcy would have been a great distraction for him. And Marcia quickly lets her know, boo boo, I'm no one's distraction.
I'm not a distraction.
Let's be careful when you're referring to me, okay? Morgan tells her, no shade, but you would have been because he would have had someone else to entertain. I said, God damn, Morgan.
But you weren't because you weren't there.
Woo.
Damn.
And so Right. So Marcia's like, girl, why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? And you know, Morgan says she is, and she has every right to be. She tells her she's not upset with her and tells her to stay in her damn lane. And so Marcia tells her, look, girl, you need to stop. You're embarrassing yourself. It's national TV. You look like a fool, especially over a man that you are no longer with. Bring it.
And then Morgan's like, I didn't even say anything to you. And Marcy tells her to shut the fuck up. I'm like, whoa, I wish you're gonna go to blows now.
So then I think they break them up, and
Yeah,
then
Tommy tries to.
yeah, and they take a break, and basically Marcia says Morgan is insane. And tells production like
She ain't
y'all
the one
got
putting
crazy
air in
people
people's
on the show.
hair.
Huh?
So she ain't the one putting air in people's hair.
Oh, she did say that.
Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Backstage, Tony's trying to get kind of he's trying to get close to Morgan, and she ain't having it. Marcia saw that Andre still got his half up, half down hairstyle from day one, which
He
I
gonna
had to
rock
bring
that
up.
joint.
Which I had to bring up because please let it go, sir. It's not even cute. This little mohawk, half up, half, I don't know what the hell. Anyways, nephew Tommy, he recaps Andre's time there and his love triangle. Tommy asks what drew him close to Cynthia and Jeffrey. He said basically with Jeffrey, it was initial attraction and it was like a magnet. And after they started speaking, he noticed they had a lot in common. He saw her softer side and he really was attracted to that. And then I don't know if you got anything more on this, but with Cynthia, he said he was caught off guard and she was curvaceous.
Basically saying physically attracted to her initially, but yeah, that's why he was caught off guard. He didn't expect that. And then I'm sure once she opened her mouth,
Well, he didn't say that though.
I mean, he because with Jeffrey, he just made it seem so deep, so he has to explain, you know, he can't say the same thing about Cynthia.
You can say more than just about her body.
You can. I give you that.
So Cynthia says when she walked in, she was kind of cockeyed. She didn't even notice her. She said she was nervous, so she really didn't notice anyone. And then him and Tony kind of rushed her, and Jay was like, boo, it was the other way around. Let's not even lie. Let's not even play like that. And nephew Tommy asked if she, felt like they were competing. And she says that it never really bothered her. She was okay with allowing everyone to go through their process. Jeffrey tells her she's always so elegant. I agree. And you try to be. Dre says that he's never been in a situation before where, dating multiple women, it felt like a tug of war because he really liked them both, but he was still undecided. And he says it made it look like he was playing a field when he wasn't. And he was serious. He was seriously interested in both ladies. I can't tell when all you said about her was she was curvaceous.
Well, that's true.
So he asked Anthony if he was ever worried about the connection between Cynthia and Andre. He said, no, they're two different people. Yes, they are. So I'm talking about and a person is going to go where they want to go.
That part.
He asked Jeffrey what made her trust Andre in the beginning, and was that trust misplaced? She said they literally talked about everything that mattered, and her heart trusted that. And she says that she thinks that he knew before the finale that, he didn't want to take on her and 3 kids. And he mentioned how basically, how are they going to have time for their own kids if he's playing stepdaddy to her kids? I said, what? Dre, you said it.
That was when she said that, I was like, yo.
Mr. I've been a stepdaddy before. I don't mind being a stepdaddy again. What? At least, what's his face? Jacoby from the other show was honest about it. Jeez. So
that other show.
That other show. Like Tommy said, that other show. And she says, she's a package deal, and she shouldn't have to be held to the fire because the fathers aren't present in their lives. Dre says he saw a lot of things that she could improve on. And he didn't question those as much as he should have. Jeffree says she meant everything in the finale, and it was hard to have him switch up on her. She says she's single until she has a ring on her finger, and her kids are her forefront of her everything. She said, put a ring on it or hush and tell me. And Tommy said, that's a whole nother show.
Okay.
That's not what we about. We about drama over here. Okay.
We just over here about dating and hunching.
Basically. Dre says he's currently dating, but he's not in a relationship. He's leaving his options open for love. Now, backstage, it's going down between Morgan and Marcia. They're going back and forth still. Tommy moves on to Tony's journey. Tommy asks Tony, why does he give the impression to all the ladies that he's smooth? He says he was raised by all women, and it's just his personality, his persona. And maybe it's the way he speaks and presents himself. Marcia says she's here for it.
She did. She was like, I'm here for it. I said, yeah, girl.
Yeah. Now, she says what it is, it's the flirt on top of that. Plus, he lays it on a little thick. And she says that out of all the guys, he let her be herself. Tommy brings up his escapades with Natasha after the journey came to an end. He said, they went out a couple times. She's amazing. They had a great time together. Now, Natasha says that they exchanged numbers and continued to talk that night. And she didn't see any reason to rule it out. And once they confirmed that, they had a connection, it was time to have that conversation. She said he even offered to leave the show, but,
she didn't say that.
She said, but, she told him no because
she wouldn't want him to do that to her.
Exactly. And Tony said he don't know about. I don't remember saying that. He said he don't know about all that.
He said,
Natasha said you remember what you want to remember.
He said you don't remember face lie.
And she says the problem with him is his intention, and said that he ghosted her and even blocked her on social media, and she never heard from him again. He said, let's be for real. Okay. He says that basically the reason why they stopped talking is because she told production that they slept together.
Yeah, she called production and told them that they slept together.
So basically, like, she blew everything up.
Right.
She said, if you want to blow something up, we can blow it up, because I wasn't even hitting you up like that. I was just trying to make sure you was good after everybody was telling me you had a drinking problem. So, Natasha, she said she ain't here to assassinate anyone's character, but he wasn't really here truly for love, and he's telling girls whatever they want to hear. And the problem is he holds himself out to be a man of God and a good father, and he's not.
Woo!
First of all, what you're not about to do, Natasha, okay, is put all the blame on Tony, because you knew he was still in the process just like he did. So you knew that he was looking for other connections, and you didn't have a problem sleeping with him. So let's not put it all on Tony, boo. Morgan says initially she had no idea all this was going on between the two. He told her.
Natasha ain't the one out here preaching the Lord's Prayer and doing all that either. Like Tony is, and I want a spiritual connection. No, you just
who the hell are you to hold
physical connection?
What you thought it was?
Okay.
So basically he told her, he didn't hold it against him, or she didn't hold it against him, and she knows men will be men. And Natasha says, no, it's not cool, because he gets to have his cake and eat it too, because he's a man. And Morgan agrees with Natasha that Tony is a manipulator, and says the day that
Marcia
went home, he said basically it's all about him and Linda needs to go home. Morgan says, she understands that every dude has an ego, but his is about the size of this room. While Marcia is over there on a sideline brushing this man's ego, telling him it's okay, boo, it's okay.
She really was.
She is. I get it, Mike. I get it. If not for nothing else. Then Lyndon says, he's never tried to get Tony kicked off the show. He's always spoke very highly of him, and Tony really didn't take that well. He's like, yo, homie, good for you.
I'm gonna be honest. Y'all know I've been in most of the season. I liked Tony. I went to bat for Tony, but seeing this, like, I don't know. It does because it just gives me asshole. Like, it's not even
He gave
direct.
asshole the entire season. Trace, where were you?
No, he didn't always give asshole.
Yeah, he did.
He clearly gives enough to reel you in, and then he hits you with the asshole. So
Trace.
he so again, he might be a boy.
No, Trace, we've decided that you're just attracted to boys.
Well, but they have to do something. You just don't like assholes from the jump.
Yeah, yeah, you could.
No, he was manipulative, like Morgan said. He draws you in.
That's what
He gets
boy
you in.
energy is.
He gets you in with the Jesus and the I really want a family and a 6-month plan and all this other. So
It that that
I
sounds
get
like
where
a lot of boy energy.
stop. And I agree. But I didn't realize it was to everyone, not just the women, but he's also a dick to the men too. Like I didn't feel like Lyndon deserved that energy from him, is what I'm saying. And it
You didn't
actually
notice it while the show was running, you're saying?
no, I understand, but I thought it was like again, they're both fighting for her attention and whatever. I didn't, but the fact that Lyndon was like, dude, I never like, and Lyndon clearly was being honest, was like, I've never tried to do that to you. He was like, well, good for you. Like it was just, I don't know, it came off catty, and I was like, oh, Tony. Like it was just very unattractive to me.
At least the bells went off eventually.
Huh?
I said at least the bells went off eventually.
Eventually.
So Tommy asked him where he is with his love life right now. And Tommy said, he's in a good place right now. He's just trying to find him. Marcia is a friend, but she refuses to go out on a date with him. So they go out during the day, and Marcia says, she's just being careful.
Okay. So Tommy jumps to Cynthia and Anthony's connection. He asked Cynthia, what the Cynthia? He asked Cynthia what initially drew her to Anthony, and she says he was the only guy she didn't get to speak to at the lunch on her first day. So she made it a point to talk to him on the boat. She said that after that they hit it off. And Anthony says, past the beauty on the outside, it was the work she did on herself that sealed the deal for him.
Period.
I was so here for it till I wasn't. And then Tommy asked, well, what made him choose Cynthia? And he says, first of all, let me correct you, brother. We chose each other.
Period.
I said, you better tell him.
Let me tell you something. So this is an example of me being attracted to a man because of his personality. Because physically, I'm not really attracted to Anthony. I don't think he's bad looking, but I don't think he's like super cute. You know what I'm saying? Now, his mental, that shit is sexy. Yes.
And Tommy asked what happened after the show. Anthony explains that they dated a little more and got to know more about each other, on a day-to-day kind of regular basis once they're back into like their regular lives. Now, Tommy then asked Cynthia, because she's over there quiet as it's kept. And Cynthia says that she feels when something is great, it's going to be challenged. But if two people want it, they can stand the test of time. And I said, that sounds like a real pageant answer you about to give, Cynthia, but okay. And
we know she good with her words.
Huh?
I said, well, both of them. I said, she good with her words.
Right. So he asked if they're currently still dating. Cynthia says there are certain things about Anthony she's never experienced. And she admits when they had challenges, she didn't handle him correctly. So she says that going through this journey with Anthony, she realized she was emotionally unavailable. So she felt it was best to take a step back, so she can be the best woman that she can be for Anthony, because he deserves that. And she wants to do that for him. Now, Anthony thinks it was a mature decision. And everyone has flaws, and it's all in how you tackle it. I love them, even if they not together. But I will say it made me think that they had to be like in the midst of something when they came to this reunion. Because either you together or you not. And it gave me like it gave me that they're fresh off a fight or something. So it was like, I'm not gonna totally say I'm not with you. I'm working on myself. We're going through some things. When you're in that middle ground, you're not really broken up yet, but
it's okay. I'm here.
I can't. Everyone wants to know backstage, okay, are y'all still together or not? Basically how I was feeling. So he hopes that she's going to do what she says she's going to do. And Cynthia says, I will, boo. I said, okay. And Tommy asked the other side of the room their thoughts. Mercedes says she's disappointed, but thinks it's beautiful that they can sit on stage with no malice. And Andre thinks they'll find their way back to each other, while Sue-Ann says she thinks they're both great people and their journey is just different. But as long as they're happy and it ends in both of their happiness, that's all that matters. So Tommy says he's in disbelief and says, look, I see y'all as a couple. And I was with him. I was like, yeah, that's what we see. Sorry, y'all. And Cynthia said it's worth it to her, and that's why she's doing the work. Mm-hmm. So that was a little disappointing. But shout out to Cynthia for recognizing she has challenges and not being toxic and dragging somebody down with her. I appreciate it.
And messing him up for the next one.
Right. So yeah, I appreciate her doing the work.
So next up is MA's journey. Tommy asked MA how hard it was to make a decision between Jeffrey and Mercedes. He said he started off with Jeffrey. Blah, blah, blah.
He said he started talking to Jeffrey first.
Yes, he said he started off talking to Jeffrey first, then Mercedes came later. He felt like he was just bouncing between the two throughout the entire process and said it was difficult for him. Well, him and Mercedes made a connection. And he says that it just got stronger and stronger. She said that it was just natural and organic. They just had this friendship element that they knew could grow outside of this process. And they still have it. Tommy asked her what made her open up. Well, I'm sorry. Tommy asked Jeffrey what made her open up about her Crohn's disease. And she says because, she's usually closed off, but with him, it just flows. And he's amazing. And, she didn't feel forced to open up. Tommy asked her then Tommy asked Mercedes why she chose herself at the end. And she says, for her to get into a long distance relationship with a great guy could have turned into a whole nother thing. And she tried to keep the connection outside of a relationship.
Basically, also, y'all cutty buddies.
Also,
that's what it was given.
He found out that his last relationship that didn't work out was with a flight attendant and it was long distance. I understand.
No, we knew that. That's why she turned him down. We knew that before.
I didn't know she was a flight attendant.
Oh, well, we didn't know she was a flight attendant, but we knew it was long distance.
I know it was long distance, but that I would have felt like that was too close to home too. I'm a flight attendant. It's long distance, because remember, I was thinking okay, she's a flight attendant. She can fly back and forth, get you. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it didn't even work out with somebody that can hop on a flight that easy.
It'll be fine. You be my BUDDY. Don't be shy. Give it a try. I could be yours and you could be mine. That is what Mercedes.
I don't know about you, but I never saw this as a real actual relationship. So it makes sense. And she said her choosing herself had nothing to do with him. Or wanting to be in a relationship with him. It just wasn't conducive with what she was looking for at the time. And
Mercedes, I was rooting for you
to be his buddy.
You're an ass.
Says basically he understood her reasoning, but he knew whether their relationship, whether they're in a relationship or not, they're always going to be good. And he felt the same way about Jeffrey. Basically, they don't talk anymore, but the door is always open if there's ever an issue. And he looked at her and was like, you already know. If you need a cuddy buddy too, I am here for you. Okay.
I'm out here passing out. Okay.
Everywhere from New York to Miami. Okay. And he says, he can't really just be friends with Mercedes. She fine as hell. Tommy asked Jeffrey if he's
as long as Mercedes is cool with it, as long as she understands what's going on right now. I mean, she turned him down, so I guess I can't be mad at him. But the fact that I don't know.
This is all I saw from the beginning with them.
I want it better for her. I want it better for them. But okay.
She didn't want it for herself, but it's okay. So Tommy asked Jeffrey if MA is actually a good kisser, and she was like, I'll let Mercedes answer that because they was all over each other instead. Now Tommy runs the unseen moments, and opens up the floor for anybody that wants to say anything. And Lyndon says it's been beautiful getting to know everyone. They've all had their differences, but he wouldn't change anything. They're all beautiful people, and he wishes them all the best. Dre says things didn't turn out the way he thought for him and Jeffrey, but he still has a lot of love for her. But everything happens for a reason, and Tommy reveals that they are bringing Ready to Love to Dallas. Boom.
You can take it to a different place, but it's not going to change if you don't change the casting. I'm just saying.
They were in Texas before, right?
No, they were in Houston.
But not, well, I was going to say not Dallas, but I know that they were in Texas before.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the recap of the Ready to Love reunion part 2. If you have not already, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And we will catch you next season in Dallas. Thank you for sticking with us all season. And I think we're like 3 seasons. What? We did 2 DC, 2 Miami. We're 4 seasons in now, Ready to Love. So we appreciate your support and y'all coming through and checking out our reviews. And we'll catch you in Dallas.
Mwah.
Howdy.